I want to tell you about 6 phenomenal performances at the NCAA championships. Did you watch these All-Americans? There were 6 of them that just completely shocked me. I mean, I knew that they were going to wrestle tough, but I did not expect these 6 guys to do as well as they did. The first one, I mean, when I talk about shocking performances, it's pretty much a guy outperforming their seed by a decent margin. So whether it was a guy in like the 20 seed end up getting onto the stand as a top 8 wrestler, that's impressive. And there were a couple of these guys that I want to talk about. So the first that I want to talk about is Taylor Lamont. Taylor Lamont, you want to talk about that. The number 7 seed. So, okay, he was expected, but he's somebody that hasn't really been talked about that much this year. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, from Utah Valley is not usually a school that gets talked about that much, but he ended up taking 5th place. He came in 12-2 record. So, I mean, he had a good record on the season. He lost at the Big 12 championships to Brody Teske, who actually didn't even place this year at Nationals. He defeated Robbie Howard in a close second-round match. And the big match came when he defeated Sam Latona, the number 2 seed, 7-4. Nobody expected this. I mean, I expected Sam Latona to make the national finals. I did. I don't know how he would have done against Brandon Courtney in the next round, but seeing as Taylor Lamont lost to him in the semis, who knows what would have happened. This was a crazy great match, great tournament for Taylor Lamont, who in the consies then lost to McKee and then beat Latona again for 5th and 6th place. He will return for a senior year. That's a great thing about these guys on this list, these 6 guys, 5 more of them for you, is they will all be returning. Wow. At 149, Yaya Thomas, the number 25 seed from Northwestern, came back. I mean, he came into this tournament, wasn't having the best season. He took 8th at Big Tens. And it's like, okay, he took 8th at Big Tens. He was having an okay season. You know, I had kind of had some faith in him at the beginning, at last year, but it wasn't really impressing me a crazy amount. Holy cow, Yaya Thomas, congratulations. 3rd place at the number 25 seed. He defeated number 8, Jaden Abis, in the first round. I mean, this was really where his streak started rolling, is in the first round, whenever he beat Jaden Abis. Then he beat number 9, Legend Lamar of Cal Poly. Then he did end up losing to Sammy Sasso. So that's where his lone loss was. Because then in the consies, he came back. He beat the number 13 seed, Mitch Moore, by decision. He beat Abis again. I love this. I love when guys beat guys twice in the same tournament just because it shows, no, it wasn't a fluke. I'm the better wrestler. He ended up defeating number 3, Brock Mahler, and number 4, Bula Wallen, each by decision, to place 3rd. He finished his junior season off right, and this is huge for Northwestern. I mean, imagine if Sebastian Rivera was still there. This would have been great for the team. Kind of impressive. We'll get to the what-ifs in a separate segment, but at 157, I have 2 guys here that had a phenomenal tournament. The first here, did you watch Wyatt Sheetz, who was the number 33 seed and ended up taking 8th place of Oklahoma State? Now, Sheetz had a pretty good career until this point. I mean, he was 6-6 this season coming into nationals, so not really expecting him to go on the stand, especially as number 33 seed. And if you're Oklahoma State, you're obviously just hoping that he's going to score some points for the team. For the team race, it's super important. Boy, did he score some points. Now, he won his pigtail, but lost in the first round to Ryan Deacon. Tough loss. I mean, obviously, as a number 33 seed, you got the number 1 seed the next match. Tough draw. But that's just how the brackets are drawn out, right? From there, he beat the number 16 seed, beat the number 18 seed, onto the number 26 seed to get into the blood round. And in the blood round, this is where he kind of lucked out. He had Brady Berge, who injury defaulted out of the tournament. But who knows? He's on a roll. This is what happens at the consies. You lose in the championship rounds, but in the consies, you start you start getting big wins. You start gaining momentum, and that's what he was doing. He could have beat Brady Berge. I don't know, but he lucked out because he injury defaulted. He became an All-American. He lost to Ja'Cory Teamer the next round in a close won with Caleb Young 3-2 for 7th and 8th that he lost. But he finally, congrats to Wyatt Sheetz, who finally got it done in his senior season after not qualifying as a sophomore. And obviously couldn't wrestle the tournament last year. But speaking of one guy I mentioned already who beat Sheetz is Ja'Cory Teamer. And Ja'Cory Teamer, number 11, Ja'Cory Teamer placed 4th and arguably could have placed 3rd if the Ryan Deacon call would have went his way. But he beat Ben Barton of Campbell in the first round, lost to the number 6 seed Brayton Lee in the second round. And this is the cool thing. This is why these guys are really on my list, is because of the wins that they were able to get in the consies. He beat number 21 Andrew Triniglia, but he beat him by a major decision in the consies. Then beat Will Luan of Michigan, the number 14 seed. Then beat number 8 seed Franek in the blood round. As I mentioned, he beat Sheetz, but then, if you weren't watching out for Ja'Cory Teamer already, when he dominated Hayden Hidley, I was watching another match, and then I saw Ja'Cory just put Hidley to his back twice, and my head was sort of swivel. I'm like, that did not just happen. And then he did it again. I'm like, that did not just happen. Ja'Cory Teamer, excellent tournament. He had the close 1-0 loss to Deacon, but arguably had the 2 points at the very end. I thought he had it, but he's only a sophomore. Expect big things from Ja'Cory Teamer in the future. Two more guys that had great seasons at Nationals. Maybe not. Actually, these last two had decent seasons, but really showed up at Nationals. Bernie Trueau of Cal Poly, the number 12 seed, placed 4th. The funny thing about Trueau, I had kind of talked about him a little bit on the show before. Said I wasn't entirely sure how to pronounce his name. I was like, is it Trout? I think I said Trow. Well, the announcers pronounced it 4 different ways. Truax, Truau, Trox, Truax. Just kind of cracked me up. So I'm pronouncing him Trueau, which I think is what they pronounce him in the All-American round. So anyways, his only loss in the season as a Pac-12 champ was actually to Demetrius Romero, who was the number 2 seed in the tournament. His huge win came with a sudden victory win over Logan Massa, the number 5 seed. He went on to beat number 4, Mikey Labriola, 4-2, and then lost to Michael Kemmerer. In the consies, he had Massa again, who he beat again. Like I said, love these back-to-back wins. Then he actually had Labriola again for the placing rounds, which he did lose to him for 3rd and 4th by an 8-3 decision. Labriola ended up coming back. But also a guy who's only a sophomore. Huge performance. Expect big things. And there's one more guy that really impressed me, and that's Jacob Woodley. At 197, the number 26 seed. Placed 6th of Oklahoma. A junior, former qualifier. He had a tough Big 12. Looking back, this may be the toughest Big 12 championship bracket. One of the toughest conference brackets with Noah Adams, Tanner Sloan, Stephen Buchanan, Jacob Woodley. Wow, that was a tough bracket. Now, he kind of lucked out with the draw that he got just because he ended up, nice win over Michael Beard, which sent him to the placing rounds. Sent him to the semis over with Nino Bonacorsi. But he lucked out because the number 2 seed lost. Schultz lost by pin to Pence in the first round, who ended up losing to Michael Beard in the next round. And then Woodley beat Michael Beard, and then ended up losing to Nino Bonacorsi 4-1 in the semis. Now, in the consies, he lost to Jacob Warner and then to Rocky Elam, both by decisions, close losses. But this is the time to peak. This is the time to show up, and Jacob Woodley did it. He returned for his senior season. My favorite thing is each of these guys will return for their senior seasons. I want to know who your favorite performance of the national championships was, because these guys super impressed me. If you like this clip and are looking for more wrestling news and discussion, I recommend that you check out the full Fanco Wrestling Show podcast, which is live on this YouTube channel every single week. You can click here to subscribe to be notified of new and upcoming videos, or you can check out the Fanco Wrestling Show on your favorite podcasting platform to listen on the go. Stop stalling and start listening today.